Bismillah. So this one I'm going to send to Brother Tasif. Shout out going to Brother Tasif, who's doing our podcast for us, putting it all on there for us. May Allah bless him and give him the best of this world and the next world. Ameen. Anyways, the story of three people. Right. The first story is a girl I met in Lebanon, and she's from Turkish origin. And we got chatting, and I said to her, "How did you come to religion then? How did you don't seem like you've been religious all your life. It's just a hunch I had." She goes, "Yeah, I was a secularist Turk, and I used to wear miniskirts. And then at that time, I was just into dunya and things like that. At that time, I was asked to go to Umrah with us religious friends. And yeah, it'll be a good holiday. I'd like to do that. Oh yeah, it'd be nice." So she got her Islamic dress. She thought it'd be a nice holiday. 1 week in Mecca, 1 week in Medina. She goes to me. This is what she said to me. Yeah, she said that she went to Mecca and everyone was crying and got excited. And she said she saw the Kaaba and she goes, "So what? Big deal. It's a black square box." Astaghfirullah. I don't know how she said that, but she told me this. She goes, "A big deal." And then at a certain time, she wanted to go home, but then she knew that the people would sort of frown on her and say, "Ah, look, she left Mecca," and things like that. She goes, she wasn't having the enjoyment that she was having, that she thought she'd have, a spiritual experience. And then after a week, she managed to hold on. She went to Medina. They told her to just read salawat and sit by the Prophet ﷺ's tomb as much as you can. So she sat by the tomb, and she didn't even know what salawat was at that time. So she said, "Okay." I started reading salawat, and then the days went by, and on the last day when she was leaving, she would read her salawat. She just started crying and crying and crying, and said, "That man inside there, whoever he is, he's done something to me." And then, mashallah, she became religious after that. And I met her on a religious retreat in Lebanon. So that's the first story. The second story, this is unbelievable. One of the people I knew, I don't want to say anything because the family is quite famous in Maidenhead. They're not in Maidenhead anyway, but they're famous in England. They might not be too happy me telling this story, but I want to tell it. So basically, he was a guy. He had nice children. Just went to work, came home, looked after his family. Very quiet. Used to see him at religious gatherings, just smiling, minding his own business. And Allah bless him. Um, he was just interested in just a nice, smiley person. Yes, nothing that shined out about him. Nothing. He didn't used to wear big turbans or big clothes, or he just didn't have the appearance of being somebody who's very, very righteous and pious. So how he passed away in Ramadan. His family were looking for him, they couldn't find him. In Ramadan, the family went to Umrah and then Medina, and that's what they done every year. And then they couldn't find his father, so they looked around. They found him in a hospital on life support. He must have passed out or something while in Mecca. They took him to hospital. So the family found him, and he passed away on the 26th or the 27th of Ramadan. So his janazah was in the Haram on the 27th of Ramadan. And then he was buried. They only let normal people, only Banu Hashim are allowed to be buried next to Hazrat Khadija. May Allah be pleased with her. And he was buried right next to Hazrat Khadija, right next to Sheikh Sayyid Alawi al-Maliki, rahmatullah alayh. And I asked the son, I said, "Bro, tell me, what did your dad do?" He goes, "You met him. What did he do?" I said, "Listen, the way he passed away, the biggest saints of our time haven't even passed away like that. There must have been something he was doing special. My friend, he's a scholar himself, really. He's not a joke, but he keeps himself to himself. He said maybe it's Allah's way of showing you don't have to be a scholar or a saint or wear a big turban to have a good ending. This was his opinion. Normal people can do that if they do righteous actions, are good people, and things like that. But I said, no, bro, that's not good enough. I know plenty of people like, tell me what he did. Did he build masjids in secret? What did he do? He goes, the only thing he can think of is, Allahu Akbar, if he knew anyone passed away, like he knew me personally, yes? If he knew I'd passed away, that week he'd do a Quran khatam for them and ask Allah to send the blessings to that person in his grave. And I said, that's what I've been looking for, brother. And that's the answer. That's what it is. Because he looked after people after they passed away, Allah gave him a beautiful death. Well, it's 6 minutes. I said I'd say 3 stories. So, but I'll leave the last one to another podcast. So this is this week's podcast, which I should have done Friday. I'll try and do 2 or 3 this week as well. I hope you enjoyed this story as much as I enjoyed telling it. Assalamu alaikum.